I say wee hours of the morning, pretty early. And so it is that we were kind of knocking out that game. Not one that we feel very good about, to be honest with you. Not great, not great. Before we get rolling here, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching on Warchant TV. Have a funny story right out the gate. Oh, look at you, Seth. All right, Seth. Happy Live Nations Friday to you, too. I'll get into your question and read it in a second. I too like it when a coach can address a player in such a manner that they don't run them off and all of that. So you have to be able to criticize and motivate in unique ways. So I would note this really quickly. I don't know. My kid's at an age now where my oldest is anyhow, where he surfs the web with the best of them, I guess. That's never a good thing. Most of the time it's not. So I don't know if you know this, Matthew. There is it's a very small handful of people, and I'm about to make it larger apparently by bringing attention to it. But you'll like it. It'll make you laugh. You'll appreciate this. You may recall at one point I was doing the Sunday Smash with my good buddy Irish Chappelle from Warchant, and I may have used some colorful language. You may have been producing at the time. I may have directed it at an individual in the chat.
That seems vaguely familiar.
So it was, I said, somebody was being irrational. Somebody was being intentionally vague. And then later on, they asserted things that simply weren't true. And I just get tired of it. But, and I said, so in essence, I said, you know what I said. You know exactly what I said. Well, so here, people have taken it and used it as a meme. So somebody uses it and somebody's pointed it to, the Portnoy guy from whatever that network is that everybody. Yeah. So what happens is they took the clip, but they erased the name, and it's just me saying F you. And now it's just used. Well, my son saw it, and he was like, Dad, I thought you told me not to do that on the internet.
Get it together, Dad.
And it made me laugh. It made me laugh. I don't care. I mean, whatever. That's obviously, if I cared, I wouldn't have said it.
If only I was recording for half the time I'd been here, I could make millions on memes.
Oh, you'd have plenty. You'd have plenty. Yeah, it's good. Hey, Kevin, greetings to you too from balmy Green Bay. I see up to 15 now from a morning low of 12. Kevin, are you a Florida State guy living in Green Bay, or am I to assume, I would think, that you're just a big Packers fan in town for the weekend to watch your beloved Green Bay Packers take on the San Francisco 49ers? I don't want to be overly judgmental, but I hope it's the latter. I hope you're visiting Green Bay to see the game and root for your Packers. That's my hope for you. Although I should probably silence myself, given the fact that I have never been to Green Bay. It could be a bustling town, a metropolis that I'm unaware of which the hidden gems are everywhere. I do not know. I know, age has its privilege, yeah. Greetings from Brussels, Belgium. All right, Mizzou Ranger, thank you. It is a doff of the cap. Yeah, Lucy, Fridays are very loosey-goosey. Somebody in the chat asked if it'd be more FSU today and more NFL. Fridays are all over the map. There's not a lot of FSU going on right now. I mean, I'm not talking about classes of 2023, 2024. So if that's what you're interested in, it ain't happening here. Now, if there's a major name, but even then, I think we've learned you can't be over the moon about a big-time commit for 2 years down the road. Can't do it. I won't do it. Refuse to do it. You shouldn't either. You can quietly nod your head in a satisfactory manner and say, that seems like a good thing if it comes to fruition, if it happens. But, the likelihood that it will or will not, it's changed radically. It's not recruiting from the days of old. Somebody comes sweeping in, give you $1 million. What are you going to do? I would also say that Florida State basketball will get mentioned right off the bat here. I'm worried about the game. It's the ACC's top 2 teams. That's right, damn it. I'm sure. Think about how, I mean, again, it's midseason and a down year for the ACC, not a great year. I got some numbers for you regarding the down year of the ACC. My goodness. But if you're a diehard, if you're a basketball diehard, you love the game of college basketball, and you, in particular, let's say, love, and there are plenty of people like this who absolutely love the ACC, which nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging them. That's fine. I mean, in its glorious history, the ACC has been the preeminent basketball conference for a long time now. It's not currently, but it has been. So I get it if you are all in on ACC basketball. Like when I was a little kid growing up in St. Petersburg, Florida, no allegiance to any particular conference in basketball, but I was beat over the head by Big East basketball. We all were. You watched Georgetown and Syracuse and St. John's and Providence and all. You remember that? That was great. It was a lot of fun. And so those Villanova, those teams could be on, and you'd go, oh, I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch this. And I didn't really have a dog in the fight. Back then, college basketball teams had greater personality. That's something the sport has lost. And it's just a changing times, and it's fair to let kids leave after a year, and I get all that. But back in the day, that couldn't happen, and so you developed along with the personalities and the games of the individuals on the particular teams that you saw so frequently. So that's how Duke rose to be so hated, right? Because you had to see Bobby Hurley and guys like that, and Christian Laettner and Grant Hill and others. You see them over and over and over again. You watch their games emerge. You'd get to know their personalities more, and you'd either fall further in love with them or you'd have greater disdain for them. And that was true of all of the teams because they kept coming year in and year out. Those guys would come back and they developed personalities. And so you latched on. And I thought that was maybe a more innocent time, maybe not a better time, but certainly it was an impressionable time in my youth. I wish we got to, especially obviously selfishly, Florida State has had recently a number of really fun players to watch play the game. And moreover, because Leonard Hamilton and his staff have a unique culture, and that is something that I refer to all the time, that they have such a unique culture. When you go over there, I can only tell you guys this. When you cover Florida State basketball, and there are a lot of people in this town who do that are friends of mine, and they would all attest to this, whether it's with Warchant or any of the other networks that do so, when you get a chance to sit down with CY or Stan or Leonard or really just any of that staff in general, and Chuck Walsh, the SID, the players, the coaches, that's a family thing that listen, they demand excellence, but they demand it across the board, on and off the court. There's just so many things about what they've created from a cultural standpoint that you want to be around it, and you can really appreciate it, and you can enjoy it and embrace it and celebrate it and root for it. And then in addition, the kids that come to it, each one that's new to the program, I can't say that it's 100% this way. There's nothing that's 100% a certain way typically. But kids don't get invited here. They don't get invited here if they aren't willing to acquiesce to a certain standard, a certain way of doing things, a certain commitment to work. And if they think they can do that and they get there and they can't be unselfish and they can't do what's being asked of them, even if it's for a year in the classroom, and they can't do those things, then they won't be here. They leave quickly. So I guess the point would be the guys that come here, even if they're one and done and you barely get to know them a little bit, one of the things that's true, you could assume to be true usually, is that they're a certain type of kid. They're a kid that doesn't mind sharing the basketball, doesn't mind sharing minutes, doesn't mind whatever Leonard Hamilton's doctrines are, right? They're in on that. That's why you notice that Florida State really never, their basketball players, you never see any of those guys in trouble. You never see any of those guys with negative headlines. You never really see, outside of like kids being kids in college, maybe missing a class and having to sit the bench for a game or two. But it's not any real, problems there. And so even the newcomers come in and you just immediately fall in love with the game. You fall in love with who they are, and they're impressing you on the court, and you know that off the court they're good kids. And so you're all in, and that's why it's tough when they leave so early. It's really frustrating. And then I kind of marry that concept with what we were talking about with the way basketball used to be, where you got to know them year in and year out, and that was a lot of fun. I'm laughing at I will ask you this. I guess. If you need game breakdowns for this weekend regarding the basketball, I'm not going to spend an hour on it. I am going to tell you my fear for Saturday, or my fear for this game tomorrow at 2:00 at the Watsco Center in Coral Gables, is that we don't have anything in the tank, right? But here's why you hold out hope. Do you guys realize this? And it's fun to bring up on a Libations Friday on a loosey-goosey edition of the show. The ACC's top two teams, which is fun to say, so the Triangle's got to hate that. They meet again in a rematch of a game played just 11 days ago, a game I was at, a game that many of you were at, and if you watched it at home or you were in attendance, you know it was electrifying. It was a lot of fun. It was an amazing moment. A lot of cool things happened in that game, not the least of which is the Raekwon Evans emerging, hitting those free throws, gaining some confidence, played very well ever since then. All of that dating back to January 11th. FSU leads the all-time series between the two programs. 52-36, fairly robust. But here's what I wanted to draw your attention to. That is an 8-game winning streak that we have against Miami. And that dates back to January of 2018. And that's because, obviously, Florida State, not Miami, but Florida State has emerged as a top 4 ACC program during that time. Miami hasn't. They were crippled by a series of injuries, which is not their fault. They whiffed on some guys to boot. The program has failed, by and large, certainly to live up to the standards of an elite top 4 ACC program like Florida State. And so they've lost 8 straight times to FSU. And why do I bring that up? Well, 8 is close to what number, guys? That's right. It's close to Platinum Bohica status. I can see the Platinum Bohica from where I sit. I don't like to visualize it for too long. But I do want to achieve it. I'd love to achieve it. I want to celebrate a Platinum Bohica over our hated rivals. And, I fear this is the weekend it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Because if you lose here while going for 9, it's another so close call. And we've been so close. Ever since I invented the Platinum Bohica, we've been on the cusp a couple times over. Think about the run we had against the other rival, hated as they are, the University of Florida. We had that run where if you just peeked your head around the corner, you could see the Platinum Bohica. There it is. Look at the Bohica. But it came to an end this year. And while this resurgence and this run and the top 2 teams in the standings are going to play each other, and that's nice because I would have never guessed I was going to say that going into this game. 2 weeks ago, if I'd said, hey, listen, the ACC's number 1 and 2 teams will face each other down in Coral Gables. They'll be named Miami and Florida State. That's crazy. But man, so close again. Now I don't even really have to, it sits before me. There it is. I'm not having to peer around anything. There's the Platinum Bohica. But I don't like it. If I were a betting man, and I am, I would pick Miami. I'm not going to bet against us this weekend. I got a lot of bets on the line this weekend. We got prize picks for you. We got it all. I will look at the game, though. I will mention it. It's going to be tough. Though that turned out to be a really thrilling game, an aggravating game. It seems like just yesterday how quickly the time flies. It has only been, as I said, 11 days ago. It was a game in which the quality of play wasn't great the last time we met up. Obviously, we started slow. We fell behind 15-7 in that game. I think there was about 13 minutes left in the first half, and we were sitting there at 3 of 12 from the floor. We had a couple of point-blank misses. I remember I was with my buddy Andy Mahoney from Orange Theory, and I think I punched him in the arm after we missed one of 2 layups. He wasn't thrilled with that. We had 5 turnovers at that point, and I thought, my God, we look ragged. The Canes had been 6 of 13 at the time. They were 3 of 5 from Trey, and it looked like we were going to be in trouble. And then, voila, 13-1 run. We went up 20-16, 8:28 to play in the half, and all of a sudden it was on. Let's hope we get off to a faster start this time around. And that second half was an interesting second half, and it'll lead into some of the analysis for this game tomorrow. But it is a short turnaround. This is the third game, 5 days, just played yesterday. You know this group is going to be on dead legs. Good thing they play a lot of guys. But I think they got to come out shooting. I think they got to come out shooting well early because I don't know that they're going to be equipped if they fall behind like they did the first go-around. I don't think they'll have the legs to come back this time around on the road. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV, football. Talk about it next. Stay with us on a loosey-goosey edition, Libations Friday.
Time when a person's word was enough. A time when a handshake meant something and integrity really mattered. Farm Bureau Insurance continues to live by these principles. That's our pledge, and it hasn't changed since the day we got started. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. From Hurricane Kate to Hurricane Michael, Tallahassee has been through a lot, and we've been right here with you because helping you is what we do best.
Just ask your doctor. The vaccines are our best defense against COVID. If you're 12 or older and you've already gotten yours, now you can give yourself a boost with a COVID booster. It makes the protection you already have even stronger. We can do this. Find boosters near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458, 800-481-1458, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
For over 5 years now, McGowan's Hops and Grapes out in Bannerman Crossing has shown us not only what excellent service is, but what excellent food is. They've got their bacon flights. They have their shareables. They have their BLTs. Yes, I said BBLT. I didn't stutter. They also have a tremendous draft beer selection and a fantastic wine selection that the owners pick out personally. McGowan's Hops and Grapes is the place to go. Great food and great people. Go visit them today out in Bannerman Crossing in Northeast Tallahassee.
There are endless options for storage sheds, carports, and gazebos from Southeast Portable Buildings. Put all your lawn equipment in new sheds so you can get that pool table and flat screen TV in your garage. Convert a storage shed into your very own happy hour place. 2 for 1 all day long. Want to try your hand at brewing your own beer? Get yourself your own brew barn. Looking to grow marijuana and get in on the game? Get yourself a grow shed. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry books to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. At Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network.
And the last thing of any significance that he did. And he's dead. Louis Anderson is dead too. That's unfortunate. Tough 10 days for comedians. Really tough year for comedians. I got to admit, without being cruel, when I saw that Louis Anderson made it, that he was 68, I was like, well, it's a pretty good run given my man's size.
And he had a serious issue that he survived pretty long.
Non-lymphobia Hodgkin, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Louis was funny and seemed like a tender guy. Had a rough childhood from what I read.
He was very good on it. Was a short-lived show, but that show Baskets with Zach Galifianakis, he was great on that.
Didn't he play a woman and like really well, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah. I never saw an episode, and I wanted to because I know he was nominated. I think he won.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I wanted to see him. But Louis, I heard Louis on Marin, and I heard him a couple other places in the last 3 or 4 years where he was opening up about his brother's death and his sister's death and his childhood and all that. And you could tell, tough go.
It seems like there's not one comedian that doesn't have a rough childhood.
Well, if you think about the profession as a whole, you could see where that would be the case. You could see why.
And speaking of comedians, I didn't know that Bob Saget's sister. I knew he did charity work, but I didn't know he was
tragic death. His whole family. He had 2 sisters die. One with a brain aneurysm. The other one was the disease that he was able to raise money for throughout the course of his career. But he had like 2 uncles die as well. And yes, tough go. Hey, you know what? When Bob Saget died, I was kind of sad. But I listen, I don't know Bob Saget, but he seemed like a good enough guy. Certainly funny, and I love that what he was famous for is the antithesis of his comedy. Quite the antithesis, but. You know what I was happy to read? And I hope that you guys someday read this about me upon my death. And not to make it about me. I hope I read it. If you die before me, I hope I read it about your death, or I find out about it at the very least. I read a report yesterday that Bob Saget, he was in Orlando, or was it Tampa? One or the other. And so he had played a show on a Sunday, and he was going to be flying back to LAX the next day. I read that when they found him, he was asleep. He was dead in his sleep quietly with the sheets pulled up around his neck, one arm on a pillow, resting comfortably. Man, we should all be so fortunate. Just let the lights turn out, baby. I'm going to bed forever. But wouldn't that just be
that is the way to go. Yeah.
That is the way to go. Like if I'm sitting here mourning your passing, I'll be like, damn, my boy, I loved him. How did he go? Tell me he didn't overdose. The people are going to have the wrong idea about you now.
Not again.
I knew one of these times we would catch up with him. I kept telling him, angel dust is not what you do.
So many interventions.
Bryant writes, Jeff, I agree with you, but I think we beat the Canes 78-75. Okay, well, if you agree with me that you think we're on fumes and we may not have the legs for it, then you're reaching down deep. What a win. I'm not kidding. I think I was, obviously I was elated with the win over Duke, and I've been very impressed with the progress and very impressed with, from which we came, because this looked like a kind of team. I haven't had to ring that bell for any significant reasons involving the NIT trolley. I haven't had to do it, but I ring it today just because we've successfully avoided that conversation with these wins and where we've arrived at. And I would tell you this, that the Duke win was huge. It gave you margin for error, as did the Miami win, as did the Syracuse win. But when you look at just how bad the ACC's been, and a lot of people are rallying with the idea that the ACC could, can we please give the ACC just 2 bids this year at most? You hear a lot of that. That's resentment. It was not all that long ago, a handful of years ago, where we were talking about over half the conference getting into the postseason and dominating the NCAA tournament as they did that year. So I get that. That's born out of jealousy. But this isn't one of those years. And so I'm really grateful we got the win. Now, I think the ACC will likely get 3 teams in, maybe 4, and we'll see what ends up happening. But I would tell you this, that if they somehow win this game in a weird way, I'd be more excited than the Duke win. Because of what, I mean, you want to talk about the chutzpah, the toughness, both mental and physical toughness that it would take to go down to Miami and get this win. First of all, Miami's only loss in the ACC is to Florida State. They've got to have great resentment for the way that game ended and the frustration that they've lost 8 straight to this team. And so, honestly, I would guess we're getting a great effort out of them at home at a time where we're on fumes, and they're good. They're good. That's the other thing. They're good. So I think all of that adds up to a really difficult proposition. If they go win that game with all of these surrounding circumstances, well, hell, man, Katie barred the door. Who knows what we're capable of at that point? Yeah, Tom Lang has been out all week long on vacation to answer those of you on the chat. My man, Director Matthew, has filled in and done a great job. Tom is lubed up on Dos Artes. Probably. That's my guess. Is lubed up on Dos Artes is the way to describe it.
There's another meme. Somebody clip that, please.
And, oh, by the way, I'm not going out with the cassowaries. Well, we were talking about death because there's a lot of it going around these days. No, I'm not going out with the cassowaries. Ain't happening. You'll never see me near a cassowary. Ever since I read that story, I was reading stories last night. I do, people know, they send them to me. It's one of my favorite things about this job is that, you kind of reveal of yourself and then others in response either fuel the fire or they reveal of themselves and you get to know them even better. And then we have, for the most part, some civil interaction or hey, read this or read that. Well, I also like, this, anything to do with anthropology or archaeology. I like all that stuff. I love that. And I find myself with basketball in the background this time of year with more time on my hands, reading that sort of stuff. And I saw where they came up with an animation for what happened from the beginning of the day until 24 hours later, or just a little over 24 hours later, what happened with Mount Vesuvius in Pompeii and what it would have looked like. And they recreated it and showed you, first of all, it showed you what the city looked like at that time based on what they know now. And then also what it would have felt like when people would have known we're in a little bit of trouble here. But by the time they did, they didn't have enough time to ride. And of course, not having cars is a problem. So there's that. But also, the folks in the city did not adhere to what I think would have been a prudent policy, which is if things start shaking, even if it's for 5 seconds. I've never lived anywhere where earthquakes happen frequently. I have a friend who lives in San Francisco, and I always worry about that for her. But I've never lived anywhere where that can, sinkholes all throughout Florida, obviously. Sinkholes, scary. Yeah, but earthquakes, no. And my policy would kind of be, I know you can't outrun an earthquake per se, and this was an eruption, but if I were living next to an active volcano and the ground in my little hut there in Pompeii kind of shook at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we saw some steam at the very least coming up from off in the distance, I'd be like, we probably got to leave. This doesn't seem like a good day. This seems like a time to travel, a time to go. But a lot of them didn't. And thus we're lucky that they didn't, because now we have their frozen figures in time that we're able to go visit. Isn't that cool? I mean, enough time has passed that we don't have to mourn. All right, I promise. NFL next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A Jackson County woman has been arrested after attempting to sell drugs through social media. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office received a tip that someone was attempting to sell pills online and located the account and messaged the user posing as a potential customer. The user was identified as Linda Faye Wood, and the investigators set up a meeting. A JCSO undercover investigator met with Wood, and upon arrival, they noticed an underage child walking with Wood and got into the investigator's car. Wood exchanged 9 Laura tabs for $100 with the underage child present. Wood was taken into custody immediately following the exchange. The Thomasville Police Department is investigating an armed robbery that happened at K Jewelers Thursday morning, located in the Gateway Shopping Center. The suspect smashed some of the store's cases with a hammer and held a worker at gunpoint to open others with a key. The suspect is a white man who is thin and was wearing a dark trench coat. If you have any information, contact TPD at 229-226-2101. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Frobley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Scattered rain showers likely this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 50, northerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Scattered rain showers likely tonight, lows dip down to about 37, overcast. Chance for scattered rain showers again tomorrow. Highs level off around 49, overcast skies. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 47.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASC trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
A woman only identified as Mrs. Wong posted on Chinese social media she had gotten locked down after a first blind date. She discovered that their date's community had gone into swift lockdown after visiting his house for a meal.
This absolutely has to become a romantic comedy. Lockdown Love. He was looking for Mrs. Right, but he found Mrs. Wong.
Lockdown. Starring Matthew McConaughey. All right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fit.
Yeah.
Caught me sleeping. I was slipping. I didn't realize I could have pulled it up today. Well, it wouldn't have been fair. My wife was working early this morning. She'd have been livid.
Oh, y'all watch it together?
We've watched it together from day one.
It is a great show. The first two are good.
Okay, let's without ruining it. Good. Like, oh yes, or okay, we gotta see where this goes.
Well, I mean, it's setting up.
Yeah,
there's
no.
14 episodes in this season, I think. It's 2 parts, the final season.
How many do you get right now? You have access to all 14 right now?
I think it's 7 right now.
7, and then they're going to drop the
a
other
couple
7.
months is the
Okay.
last 7.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's setting up stuff, but it's good.
I think I know where they're going here. I think I have a suspicion of where this is going to go. But, I mean, again, we'll have to I'm tempted. I don't do the binge thing. I think I'm enough of a boomer, as the kids say, that I don't do the binging. I mean, I have, but I don't like to do that. That's not a proper way to consume things in my mind. And I miss appointment watching. Like, I'm not always, look, I like a lot of things to be on demand. Don't get me wrong. This is not all of one or the other, admittedly. But do you recall the build up each week to, say, Breaking Bad, or the build up to The Sopranos, or the build up to, like the shows that you love, The Wire, those kinds of things where you would say, oh, I can't wait till Sunday night, or I can't wait. I rather enjoyed that. I enjoyed that approach because all week long you would banty about it with friends at work, or your friends in general. You'd text back and forth or call each other and talk about, what do you think of this? And you'd have a chance to fully vet and break down episodes, including some of the subtleties and things like that you don't really get to do if you just go back to back to back to back to back all in one day. Now, I know I'm in the minority on this, and I do like the option, but I feel like I want to watch one on a Friday night with my wife, have a couple of pops and watch that episode, then maybe watch one of the other shows that we're watching, whatever. And then we're going to wait. We're going to wait a few days. Let's let that marinate for a minute. Let's think about that. Let's let that sink in a little bit. I know kids today, they sit down, they got to watch everything in like 6 hours or 4. What are we doing?
It also doesn't provide you the time or the proper time to what we used to do. The last show that I was really appointment watching was Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't allow you to bet on the show either, which is what we had gambling pools for the next death on Game of Thrones at school. It was great.
Yeah, I forget that that's amazing.
Yeah, all those shows you listed, I've caught up on and watched, but like The Wire, I was too young.
Yeah, no, that would have been, well, hell, there were adults who didn't get The Wire, but so yeah. All right, some of the numbers as we prop bet the weekend and go into these games. For starters, just as a football fan, these are the games that you dream of. In particular, the matchup, I think we all would agree, between Mahomes and Josh Allen. Great piece today by Kevin Clark that I would encourage you to read on The Ringer. But I wanted to read from that first paragraph because I think he sets it up very well, and it's one of the reasons that I'm most excited. Just as a football fan, not even a gambling aspect. I'll get to the numbers in a second. But did you know this? I didn't until I read this morning. There have been 19 consecutive playoff games without a fourth quarter lead change. Damn, man. 19 consecutive playoff games without a fourth quarter lead change. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen could be here to help. Sunday will be their second playoff matchup in as many years. It's the closest point spread in a game played at Arrowhead Stadium since Patrick Mahomes became a starter 4 years ago. And the two quarterbacks kind of serve as perfect foils, each with ideal supporting casts, coaching staffs, leading teams that were built for this momentum and their skill set. And it's kind of developing into a perfect quarterback rivalry. You feel like you're going to get this a lot. And currently, you would say that Mahomes has the edge. He's the better player. But when Josh Allen is right and when he plays well, he's as good, if not better, than everyone on the planet. Now, he doesn't do it as consistently, but when he does, that is a unique skill set and arm strength very few have ever possessed. And at their peaks, both of them feel like, at least in terms of their offense, unstoppable. When they're both right and they're both playing really well and they get into a rhythm and everybody's healthy around them, you kind of sense like, well, that you're not going to stop that. And so it is our great hope as we head into the weekend that we get one of the all-time great games where both of them are that kind of great simultaneously. And if you do get that, if both are at their very best, given how good the supporting cast is, it becomes a final possession game. It becomes a game where we get the lead change in the fourth quarter, maybe not once, but twice. And then somebody comes back down. He who has the ball last type moment. Somebody's kicking a field goal to move on to the AFC Championship game. And it almost feels like, in a weird way, and I say this with all respect to Tennessee and Cincinnati, which I think is going to be a great game as well, or at least a very good game. It feels like this is, I mean, this should be the AFC Championship game. This, in a lot of ways, in many people's eyes, should be the Super Bowl. I don't want to dismiss Green Bay's chances of that, or my beloved Bucks, or even the Rams.
Yeah, this is eerily similar of when the Colts and Patriots with
all the time.
Brady and Manning. I mean, this should be the Super Bowl. It didn't matter who came out of the NFC.
Yeah, the same used to be true when you'd get Steelers and Colts, and it was always a lot of fun too. Back in the day, I remember when Dallas and San Francisco would square off. Way back early 90s, you're like, well, this is the Super Bowl. Whoever wins this game is going to go on and beat the Buffalo Bills. That's kind of the way that was. And we have wanted, in the crux of the article that I'm alluding to, it's a very long article, but I like that opening setting because that's the way I viewed this game. But the other thing is, as football fans, I mean, we're always starved for great quarterback rivalries. And it's weird because it's the ultimate team game, but we all sort of fall victim into wanting Manning Brady. And you go all the way back to, Bradshaw and Staubach, and you can keep doing this all the way through up into the modern era. We can think of all these great quarterback battles, these feuds, these great moments, or these guys that were so close but never got there, never got over. Like Jim Kelly, obviously, the first that comes to mind because he was so great, never got it. Dan Marino never got a Super Bowl victory, and he was great. There have been guys that you kind of just felt bad for. You wanted them to keep having their opportunities. I mean, hell, John Elway eventually got his, but I mean, it took long enough, and there was heartbreak, and you knew he had preternatural skills, and yet his team around him wasn't great. What's different here is that these two teams legitimately have pieces across the chessboard, right? They're good everywhere. Now, they weren't always, and you had moments this year where you go, well, I don't know about their offense. Or in the case of Kansas City, there's a stretch where you go, I don't know about their defense. You kind of had faith that Mahomes would figure out that teams were going to make him take the underneath stuff. Eventually, you would have to just settle in and say, look, man, they're not going to give up the big play to you anymore. You're going to have to be patient. And we trusted that he's smart enough and they're talented enough that would happen. And eventually it did. And now their offense is clicking, but you needed the defense to come around to have this moment. And the defense has now come around to have this moment. Whereas with Buffalo, a couple of injuries, but also they were wildly inconsistent for a stretch, including the one in which they lost to Jacksonville, where they couldn't move the ball. They struggled to run the ball. They struggled. I thought for a stretch, Josh Allen lost out on some accuracy stuff. And then you kind of wondered, is he pressing? What's happening there? But they both got right at the right time to lead us to where we are now. And now they've never looked better. I mean, those two teams come into this game and you're like, well, I don't know. This is one of those games where I don't want weather to matter. I want to see teams be able to do at their apex what they're capable of. Your next favorite game on the board. It's also in the AFC, isn't it? If we're just talking about matchup, isn't it Cincinnati, Tennessee?
Yeah. They also said that Henry today is going to start.
Yeah, man. I showed my boys the picture of him standing next to Mark Ingram yesterday. That is so wrong. That is so wrong. Look at that picture. If you're on the chat, look at that picture. That's Mark Ingram next to Derrick Henry. No. Now picture you're standing at the 50. You are standing at the 50, and he is standing on the goal line. And you look back, the thing of nightmares, and he starts to run straight to you. And you know that running is futile because not only is he that big, he's fast as hell. That's the stuff that nightmares are made of. Dudes that big running like that. What was it he topped out at last year on that long run? 22 miles per hour? Get the hell out of here with that. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hearth and Patio for custom fireplaces, maintenance, outdoor grills, kitchens, fire pits, lighting, and so much more. Check out all of Hearth and Patio's options online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
The all-new Smitty's Tap House and Grill is now open. Smitty's reflects a deep appreciation for fine craft beers and tasty bar treats, with family recipes handcrafted by Smitty himself. Try the house-made giant pretzels, made from scratch mozzarella sticks, and some of the best cheesesteaks you've ever had. We're not even scratching the surface on what Smitty's Tap House and Grill has to offer, so be sure to visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com to check out the full menu. Smitty's Tap House and Grill on Thomasville Road, just north of Cary Forest Parkway.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service, right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mandlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com.
Give me the over. Joe Burrow, 7.5. Anything jump out at you with those numbers? How about Tom Brady, 1.5 yards?
I think I would take the over on all of those, except maybe not Burrow.
Okay, so Burrow, who's been banged up, I doubt is going to be running anywhere. I would be inclined to go under 7.5. Tannehill, I'd go over. He's mobile, and his legs are actually a weapon. Garoppolo, I don't know, man. Maybe running for his life a little bit, but he's banged up too and doesn't really want to run. 1.5 yards isn't much. Rodgers, 5 years ago, would have been an easy over 5.5, but he didn't run much anymore at all. Probably should have last year. Oopsie. Tom Brady's 1.5 yards. King of the quarterback sneak. If the Bucs get to the 1, would they do it? With Aaron Donald in there? The more intriguing, of course, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. And that is where I find the numbers interesting. Josh Allen is a robust 46.5 yards rushing for this game. Now, this speaks to what the Bills have frequently done, which is incorporate him in designed runs because he's huge. They run power packages for him, and he's fast. And he's a monster. Patrick Mahomes, the number is 21.5. Fun numbers for quarterbacks. I'm still amazed, and I want to give a shout-out to Florida State's own Cam Akers, who we talked about this week, but it's obscene that a man can come back from an Achilles injury in the same year. It is just, that doesn't seem possible and be effective. His number and he's sharing time in the backfield, is 45.5. But I can't fathom. It is hard to imagine that guy could look as effective as he had. I mean, just the game back you saw, there was still explosiveness there. It is really hard to imagine and very, very impressive. I think I'll go under there against the Bucs, but I wonder. I want to go to passing yards, receiving yards, because it's the more interesting number with A.J. Brown at 69.5, and for Cincinnati's Jamar Chase, 72.5.
I think I would lean over on both of those.
The key to all of this, without telling you guys which to pick, and you guys know this already, tell the story of the game. I mean, this gets back to who you think is going to win and why. And if you're uncertain, then leave it alone. But if you've got a sense of how the game is going to go, then tell the story of the game. If Cincinnati wins the game, you believe it's because Joe Burrow is hitting Jamar Chase on the regular, and those two have been unstoppable together for the better part of this entire season. If that's the case, then you're going to go over Jamar Chase's 72.5. Then you're going to immediately look at Joe Burrow's passing totals and see probably that you want to take the over. If you think they lose this game, if you think Tennessee's defensive front in particular is able to exploit the weakness that is Cincinnati's offensive line and that they're going to get to Burrow, then, maybe you're looking at a different direction. A.J. Brown is a great player whom very few people can stop defensively. So I look at A.J. Brown, and I probably think the over there if Tennessee's going to win the game. Although, again, they have the opportunity to go back and run the ball with Derrick Henry, who's a full go. So this gets fun trying to write the stories of the games. And the better the game, the more difficult it is to come with totals for players and for the game. And that's why I really don't have a ton of action this weekend. I'm going to do parlays, as we've talked about. I'm going to get into, in fact, I made sure that I pulled up the one that I was most kind of interested in here. I've got a 6-point teaser today where I took the Rams and boosted it to 9 and Bills plus 8.5. To me, that's the one. Can't believe the Rams are underdogs given how beat up the Bucs are. We'll say this, Tristan Wirfs did walk on the practice field today without a boot, helmet in hand. Drugs are an amazing thing. Pain blockers. I mean, it's crazy what they're able to do these days. High ankle sprains, if in fact that is a high ankle sprain, creates a situation where you're not able to move laterally. Those ligaments, in essence, securing and stabilizing the bones won't allow you, because of the pain and because of the weakness, to go left or right. He was said to be walking normal. That means he either didn't have a high ankle sprain, but rather a different, if you have a low ankle sprain, something, that high ankle sprain keeps people out sometimes for a month. I mean, I've never had a high ankle sprain. My brother did it, and I know he barely could walk for a month. Now, these guys are world-class athletes. I get it, and they have access to a lot in terms of medical technology and advancements. But goodness gracious, I mean, you're not just putting him in in the hot tub and saying it's going to be all right. I mean, goodness gracious, if that's a high ankle sprain. So I don't know. That could be the difference of the game, because I think going into that game, you're solely looking at whether or not the Bucs can block the Rams. That's what you're looking at. When Tom has time, even with shorted weapons, he will game control it. He will get the ball out of his hands quickly. He will drive people crazy, dink and dunk if he has to, until he can open up the deep ball. But if you can't block it up, and last week, after Wirfs went down, 2.1 seconds to throw the ball. Shortest amount of time of any quarterback in the playoffs post that injury, which happened early. Luckily, the Bucs got up early in that game. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Show live and local on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. A U.S. judge in Texas has issued a nationwide injunction barring the federal government from enforcing President Biden's requirement that federal workers without qualifying medical or religious exemptions be vaccinated for COVID. Judge Jeffrey Brown ruling that opponents of Biden's vaccination mandate for federal employees were likely to succeed at trial and block the government from enforcing the requirement. The Justice Department says it will appeal the judge's ruling. Thousands of pro-life Americans in the nation's capital are now on the move at the 49th Annual March for Life. Christina Bennett is a spokeswoman for Live Action.
People are excited. I'm excited because we have hope. We have hope that the Supreme Court will rule in favor of preborn children, and we have hope that we will see the justice that we've been waiting for 39 years.
The Supreme Court appears likely in the coming months to let states impose tighter restrictions on abortion. Also at townhall.com, President Biden's job approval rating slips following his extended press conference this week. Bernie Bennett with the update.
Rasmussen Report's daily presidential tracking poll for Friday shows that 41% of likely U.S. voters approve of President Biden's job performance, 58% disapprove. The latest figures include 20% who strongly approve of the job Mr. Biden is doing and 47% who strongly disapprove. This gives him a presidential approval index rating of negative 27. At this point in his presidency, former President Trump had a 45% approval rating, 4% higher than President Biden. Bernie Bennett reporting.
An estimated 800 migrants trying to continue their journey north have been intercepted by Mexican authorities shortly after walking out of the southern Mexican city of Tapachula. The attempted migrant caravan followed a day of protest Thursday over the Mexican government's attempts to contain them in the south, far from the U.S. border. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 3388 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 3388. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com. You're a little 28 for that ass. I, for one, will embrace it. Winter lasts very short periods of time in the South, so embrace while you can.
Speaking of Twitter, at J Cameron Show. Good work referencing the two matchups that have taken place. I was reading a story in the fifth quarter. And I was reminded that back in the day, as a young lad, I watched the Bucs lose heartbreakingly and have 2 touchdowns called back against the Rams for the right to go to the Super Bowl and play the Steelers, where we would have gotten killed. This is the 9th playoff meeting between Green Bay and San Francisco. 2 previous playoff matchups between the Bucs and the Rams combined to score under 26 points. I think the first one, the one I'm referencing, obviously was the 9-0 loss for the Bucs, and then the other was the famed Bird Emanuel game, which I'm still angry about. And it led to a rule change, as we recall, which at that time really thought we were going to go on the road and get that win. Didn't happen. Florida State, Miami tomorrow. Touched on it first of the hour. Touch on it again here. The two teams, kind of fun to note, serve as the thorn in the side of those that hold basketball on high in the triangle, because they are 1-2 currently. And Florida State will seek to win their 9th straight game against Miami. Got to imagine that is going to be a difficult task. It is a veteran club in Miami, to say the least. And the guys they depend on, very specifically, redshirt senior, redshirt senior, redshirt junior, redshirt senior, redshirt sophomore. Very experienced, very talented, and man, don't leave. Here's my advice: don't leave Charlie Moore open. Dude can shoot it. Last meeting, FSU managed to win despite only scoring 65 points. Did not shoot the ball well. Had too many turnovers, but we were able to come up big with big plays down the stretch on both ends of the floor. And, you think back on that. We did not do those things against Syracuse here, which led to that home loss, 63-60. So, also, I think back earlier in the year when we were losing games like this, we lost the 66-65 game to South Carolina, neutral site game, where we just didn't make plays down the stretch. And I think that for Florida State, you've watched the seniors kind of or the veteran players lay the groundwork for the young players to get their sea legs, figure it out. And I think if you go back and look, defensively, we did a very good job staying in front of Miami's guards. They're very quick. Those layups that you get backdoor when you're trying to stay out in front of a guy, that we were able to do a good job of not overplaying the passing lanes. We were also, by the way, 25-0 to the good in bench points. That's insane. The Canes only used 2 of their bench players for more than 8 minutes. Their starters logged at least 34 minutes each. 2 very different styles of playing the game. Again, Miami will be, to say the least, very, very motivated. Florida State playing well, filled with confidence. Do they have the energy, the legs to go win this game? 3rd game in 5 days. And if you go back to, listen, Miami shot it pretty well here in that first game, 24-52, 46%. They shot 42%, almost 43% from three-point range, which is well above their average of 34.9%. They were 7 of 10 from the free throw line, but here's where I think Florida State gained ground and began to turn the corner defensively. Miami was averaging 15 made free throws a game on 20 free throw attempts a game. They didn't get to the free throw line in that last game against Florida State. We kept them off the line. We were able to defend without fouling. And that's hard to do against a team as quick as Miami is. So they end up with 64 points instead of their average, which is 77.1. And all of a sudden, again, you're talking about Florida State doing a lot of good things. Seniors leading the way, making winning plays over the final 2 minutes. It was the polite rebound in which he got fouled and hit both free throws. And we followed it up with Malik Osborne hitting a big 3 to beat the shot clock from the wing. That put us up 63-61 at the time. And then, of course, we all know what happened for Florida State at the end. Raekwon Evans coming up massive there, converting both free throws, gave us the 65-64 win, did it with 0.8 seconds on the clock. A glorious thing, and it's led to a win streak. So let's hope the momentum continues. If I had to pick here, I don't think Florida State wins the game, but I wanted to start the hour touching on this because Florida State does have an 8-game win streak. And as I alluded to on a Libations Friday, you get to 9, all of a sudden the Platinum Bohica becomes a very real proposition. I want that Bohica.
There was a question in the chat earlier. Has there ever been any consideration on building up to the Platinum Bohica?
Like a silver? No. I want to. The Platinum Bohica, I want it to be elusive. I want these goals that you set to be the bar to be very, very high. I don't want to settle for little prizes along the way. We're not doing that. No participation trophies here.
You put it all on red. You don't spread it out.
No, we're not spreading it out. We want to win and win big. I like winning big. You accomplish something at that point. You're saying, look what we did. Feel the weight of this accomplishment. Look at the size of this Platinum Bohica. The magnitude of what we just did. So that's where my head's at. And I would love to see it. I'm not negative, guys. Some of you think I'm not positive on this. I'm not negative. Look, it's a long season, young team, tired, 3 games, 5 days. Am I negative? Just like I wasn't negative about storming the court. I was just pointing out it wasn't necessary. Wasn't mad. I have to reiterate these things, guys. I wasn't like over there in the corner going, look at these a-holes embarrassing themselves. No, it's just like, all right, guys, lest we forget we're a program of significance. We win games like these all the time. At some point, it becomes standard fare. I mean, we've been better than Duke 3 of the last 5 years in the ACC. I mean, I don't know. Like we don't storm the floor when we beat Florida and other teams in basketball. We're kind of like, yeah, that's what we do. It's who we are. You get good enough and you win enough games, even against named opponents, that you just start to get used to it. That was my only point. Again, kids, have fun. Go crazy. I hope you enjoyed it. Whatever, man. I'm not losing sleep over it. I'm not the guy screaming. I'm not Coach K over here telling everybody how dangerous it is. I don't think it's dangerous at all. In fact, I'm pro court storming. And get ready for it. Here you go. I get my chance to say it. On the whole. I look around the landscape of college basketball, and I love a good court storming. When I see a huge upset, I go, look at that. Look at those kids. They're storming the court. Good for them. Jump up and down, kids. Have fun with that court storming. Stand in place and just jump up and down on the court. Yay, you guys. It's a lot of fun. It's just that those times that I'm for it and I see it and I celebrate it and I embrace it and I encourage it is when there's a real big upset. When you win another home game, because that's kind of what you do here at Florida State. I mean, what is it, 83-5 over the last 5 years? Like, teams should storm the court here in Tallahassee when they beat us. Like their parents and their friends in the stands, like 15 of them. If Duke would have won that game, they should have charged onto the floor to celebrate their victory. Unimaginable that they could roll in here at the TLC-CC and get a win. Their family should have been in tears. Coach K crying as he shakes Leonard's hand. I can't believe we did it at the TLC-CC. Let's take a picture. We won't get too many opportunities in this joint. These sons of bitches never lose here. Right here under the scoreboard, everybody. That's who you should see charging the floor around here. Opposing teams shocked. Absolutely shocked beyond reason that they won a game on the road. That's all I'm saying. That's what it is.
If that would have happened a couple of years ago, I think Grayson Allen's dad, who was sitting right in front of us, would have punched some fans on the way down.
Yeah, that guy. That was amazing. The Grayson Allen's dad's story. He was you could understand how Grayson Allen was a habitual line stepper. You could see like that dude had no choice but to be the ass face that he is. By the way, it's a bold move to trip somebody. It's not quite the same as spitting on them. Because here's what I tell you, like, everybody who's ever played, right? Whether they're pickup games, organized, both. Here's the deal, right? You go, you play your game. Everybody knows there are fouls, and then there are things that are going to warrant a fight. So you get undercut. Somebody goes low on you as you go up for a dunk or a layup. You may want to pop up and punch that dude in the face, especially if you believe it to be intentional. Certainly nobody can spit on anybody. But tripping, testicle punching, that is, obviously can't have that. Chris Paul was forever slapping boys. Remember that? It's like 3 times in his career that he's gone to the old slap-a-dee-doo. That's an instant beatdown once you get your breath. Now, and that's where your teammates have to step in. Because if you get a slap to the boys and you go down, that's when shaka-now. It's got to happen. Somebody's got to step in. Now, the other would be tripping. An intentional trip. Who's out here sticking their feet out tripping people like we're in 3rd grade? We are kind of assuming and insinuating that Grayson Allen's dad might be in the same mold as Todd Marinovich's dad. Yeah.
You would think that Grayson would know where that line is because his dad was ready to fight fans. Now, unsavory as those chants may have been towards Grayson,
there were some chants. I was disappointed by those chants because they started like 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, he didn't do anything wrong necessarily in the game.
Well, later on, I think he did, didn't he? But that wasn't the game we were at where he pushes into what's the CY? I can't remember. One of our assistant coaches. So, that's just kind of, that guy was a punk. We've not seen any such problem in the NBA for him. I think he knows that's a lights out proposition. Tripping grown ass men with their livelihood on the line ain't going to work out. I got picks to make. This has been a bludgeoning. My poor mom has lost overwhelmingly so. I don't think that's next segment. It will be the one after. But we will break here because we're going to segue from basketball to football. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Look at an expensive timeshare contract and feel like there's no way out.
I'm almost at $10,000 in 4 years. I've never traveled anywhere.
They made this sound that this would be a really good deal, that I could go anywhere, anytime I wanted to. That never worked out.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group. I've helped thousands of people get rid of their timeshares. I know all the tricks because I'm embarrassed to say I once worked in the timeshare industry. We've saved suffering timeshare owners millions in debt and maintenance fees. When you're approved as a client, I guarantee you a 100% success rate. We'll get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off of your back permanently.
I honestly would recommend that you call Wesley Financial. They will help you.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free information kit. If they can't get you out of your timeshare, you'll pay nothing. Call 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595. That's 800-600-9595.
Are you stumped on who to call for fast and affordable crane and tree service? Deep South Tree Service is a cut above the rest. They go out on a limb for their customers. With the largest crane in the Big Bend area. No job is too tall, no job is too small. Call Rob for a free quote today. 850-877-TREE. That's 877-8733. Deep South Tree Service. Our roots run deep.
I may be Dr. Nina Ford Johnson, but I'm a mom first. My babies will be getting the COVID vaccine as soon as they're old enough. The risk from COVID far outweigh any risk from side effects of the vaccine.
Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every great construction project, whether it's a new addition or renovation, starts with a plan. At T-Spark, we are excited when our clients contact us to assist with that plan. Through our team of architects, draftsmen, engineers, we can help you with your project's planning and design, potentially saving costs in the long run. Whether you have a residential or commercial project, we look forward to working with you. Call us today or visit us at tsparkconstruction.com. License number CGC 1525336.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Our friends at ISF want to wish you a very happy new year. Listen, you want to do amazing things. You have big visions and goals for the future, and you work hard to move your agency forward while navigating the unique challenges inherent in government operations. ISF understands. They're a national management and IT consulting firm serving clients across the country. As we turn the page to another year, ISF reminds you to think big and stay focused on your goals for the future. ISF, your vision, our expertise, solving the future. Visit ISF.com to learn more.
Hi, I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. And as an agent with Florida Farm Bureau, I'm continuing that promise. Farm Bureau Insurance has been protecting what matters most for over 75 years. Your home, your auto, your family, your life. Who's protecting you? Give me a call, 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. At Florida Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest.
Find out what it's about. By the way, if you're a new member, say you decide to join, I think you will if you take that class. The first month is free, actually, with the purchase of a heart rate monitor. That is it's a damn fine deal. If you're an active member, make sure you refer your friends who have been curious about it. You want to get them in there. You'll save some money on membership prices over the next 3 months. And I know that they're always incentivizing that, but I'll just tell you my experience has been a good one. I had to take a week and a half off with a strained calf, Matthew. Well, I enjoy going so much that I didn't want to risk further injury, and I didn't do it at Orange Theory. I did it playing basketball against my son. And, of course, I can't let him win. But I need to be in so this is a catch-22 for me, right? I have to work out extra hard at Orange Theory now so that I have the wind to make sure I don't let him win. So we have wars in the driveway these days. I mean, it gets ugly. It's a little testy. It's like Lakers Celtics back in the 80s. There may be an occasional wayward bow. It happens. Maybe you go up for a rebound and you feel a little extra force in your lower back. I don't know. But we're not out here calling bitch fouls now. We're playing games. Let's go. So, and he's gotten strong enough where it's a tough endeavor. It's a tough deal. So, okay, I gotta win the game. I'm still bigger and stronger, but not by much these days. He's 14. He's nearly 6 feet tall. It's happening. It's like and he can jump. So now I'm like, okay, well, now here we go. And I went to, I've already told people this, but I went to cut, and my calf said, no, you're not. You're not doing it. We know you want to go left. We know you're capable. We know you have the handles. We know you're hearkening back to your 18-year-old self, but we're not 18, those of us down here in the right calf region. And so it just a shooting pain from the bottom of my calf through the hollow of the knee. I thought, oh, God, here it goes. But I think I just tore the sheath. So I've had to battle back and slowly put pressure on it. But at Orange Theory Fitness, if you go there and while you're keeping yourself in shape, they've got options. You don't have to run or walk on the treadmill per se if that calf is bothering you. That's right. You could get on the bike They've got this walking thing like the elliptical. You can do all kinds of stuff to try to keep your cardio going. But I took a week off, and I miss it. I really do. Orange Theory Fitness, 2 locations in town. Go be the best you. More life, Orange Theory Fitness. It's true.
I hurt my elbow the other day doing the
Well, you're
similar
young,
thing.
But you're young.
I was playing basketball with Sean.
Sean's 2.
I pushed his head over because he was trying to dunk on me. Hit my elbow on the dresser.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You rehabbing it?
Yeah, trying to. Not in here. Not in my house.
No.
When does that start, by the way?
There are no easy layups.
The
There are
competitiveness.
I think he was, well, I mean, in fairness, like, shame on you if you're getting beat by like 10 and 11-year-olds. So that can't happen. It's not competitive at that point. But I think around 13, I think he had a growth spurt where he went like from 5'7" to 5'10" or 5'11" in like a year. And he had just turned 12 or 13 or something like that. So he started, I could tell he started thinking, well, the size advantage wasn't so distinct at that point anymore. And then I think when you begin to see your kids kind of come into their own from athletically, where they don't look goofy, like they're comfortable in their own skin, they're comfortable in their body, they're able to make sort of adjustments on the fly. Like when you're throwing the football with your kid, for a long time, you'll see that they're just so awkward. The idea of running, jumping, calibrating where the ball is, and catching it, coming down, gracefully, it's very difficult for kids. Obviously, they're going through growth spurts. They're awkward. They're gangly. They're all those things. Well, when they start being able to kind of manipulate their body in the air and make like twisting catches, then you'll start to see this confidence build. And when that happens, then they're ready to challenge. And I have a feeling that's not going away anytime soon. And given that, I'm 50 and he's 14, I mean, it won't be long. And he's practicing basketball every day because he made his middle school basketball team. So now he's practicing every day. And I'm very certain that my time atop the hill as the king, where I am the court king, and I tell him about it, undefeated. Now, there have been some battles, and then my body parts are giving out. I've had to hit some big shots. I've had to reach down deep in the cockles. I've had to figure it out and realize this is a big shot, Cameron. It's point game. It's 10-9. We're going to 11 by ones. Got to win by 2. Don't miss this shot so that you have to go to 12.
His tendency is to go left.
Yeah. I'm like, you got to hit this shot. Luckily, because I've got meat on my bones, I can give him a little hip. It's enough to make him step back because he can't handle it. And then I got that little fade. And I'll talk to him while the ball's in the air. Ruthless. I'll be like, drawers. Give me the ball. Drawers. And you can just see that forlorn look on his face. He's actually got legitimately mad and walked in the house. Well, I hope you're proud. I'm 150 pounds. You're 220 pounds. What am I supposed to do? I'm like, you gonna cry? Check.
You're supposed to defend.
Yeah, that's what are you gonna do? It's always gonna be somebody bigger. What are you gonna do? All right, let's get to wagering with my mother. We'll do it in a second. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Local news now.
The Tallahassee Police Department announced Thursday arrests in 2 unrelated shootings that happened this month. 19-year-old Jaheim Oglesby was arrested. Oglesby arrest is related to a January 13th shooting at the Springfield Apartments. A victim and Oglesby engaged in a verbal altercation. Oglesby pulled out a gun and shot the victim. The victim was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The second arrest is in connection to an early morning shooting January 7th at Good Vibes Only nightclub. Jordan Brown, age 21, was the second individual arrested in the incident that one person died. Daquan Blunt was arrested on January 8th. The victim engaged in a physical altercation with Blunt, knocking him on the ground. Jordan Brown retrieved his firearm and began shooting the victim. Blunt retrieved his firearm and also shot the victim multiple times. Both Blunt and Brown ran from the scene and were caught. Blunt was transported to Leon County Jail while Brown remained at a local hospital until his release Thursday. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Scattered rain showers likely this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 50. Northerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Scattered rain showers likely tonight. Lows dip down to about 37. Overcast. Chance for scattered rain showers again tomorrow. Highs level off around 49. Overcast skies. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 47.
Did you know metal roofs' survivability far exceeds that of traditional shingle roofs? It's time to consider a metal roof from Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee. We provide the best quality, least expensive material and accessories in the area, as well as material pickup and delivery. Our painted panels qualify for the City of Tallahassee's low-interest Energy Star loan program also. And don't forget about our veteran and law enforcement discount. Give Metal Roofing Sales a call today at 536-9123, 536-9123.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
Do you know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
It's Congressman Michael Waltz on the Greg Tish Show.
Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Again, just what you have to go through day in and day out. I don't know how you have hair left, or like Matty Rowe, just completely bald.
Hey!
Sorry.
And the irony of it all, the progressives are the tail wagging the dog. This whole bipartisan White House is a joke. We're just watching them eat their own.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness.
Gotten better. She's never been able to find her footing. I think I was locked in and focused this year from the shocking upset from a year ago. I wasn't going to let it happen again. It's like you're that team. It's, that you thought was destined to win a championship, somehow got upset. NC State or Villanova, something like that happens to you. You can come back even stronger the next year. You've got to make sure you get this championship. I feel like Green Bay's that way this year, maybe. Kansas City seems to be that way this too. Now, there are people that can do something about it, unlike my mom with me. If you would.
She's got something for you, though.
Okay.
She's going to knock you off your high horse.
All right, let's go. Cue it up.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room! Ma, the meatloaf!
Take it away, Jeffrey.
Hello, Mama. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing all right. My calf is healing. I think I'm getting better.
Oh, your calf? No, I don't think I knew about your calf.
Yeah, I was just telling everybody on the air. I was playing Bryson basketball about a week and a half ago, and I strained my calf severely.
Oh, well,
yeah.
See, I was just listening to you before we came on the air talking about beating up on your son playing basketball, and I was chuckling to myself because I was going, what goes around comes around. And
oh yeah,
and that's what used to happen to you out in the driveway there as you were growing up with Bob and I don't know, not Bobby. I don't think Bobby ever played, but maybe with Aaron or whatever, until you got bigger, until you finally decided you weren't going to have it anymore and decided to knock his glasses off.
Yeah, no, then I started getting physical when I got bigger than my stepdad and was like, oh, you bring it on now. But Bryce is not.
Remember that with Bryce, because I have a feeling he's going to be bigger than you pretty soon.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, he's going to be taller than me soon, I think, but I don't know about bigger.
Oh, no, maybe not wise, but
well, but you know what? Don't feel bad for him. He's at the age where he's annoying. Listen, 14 and 15-year-old kids kind of suck. So what are you going to do? They need to be humbled as often as possible.
Yeah, well, that is true. I do remember that middle school age, as you know, I've said for years, was absolutely the worst age of you guys growing up. If I could have just skipped that part, especially 7th and 8th grade. 6th wasn't so bad, but because you're still kind of young then, but 7th and 8th was just terrible.
Yeah, 8th has been no fun. I think 8th has been the tough one so far.
It gets to high school. Next year, it'll start to get better. I really think high school's fun.
We'll see. He doesn't get the benefit of the doubt as of right now.
Oh, Lordy.
So, Mom, I think you lost the games to me again last week.
I did. I lost both of them.
I don't even think you were close. Didn't you take New England?
I did. And you know what? I must have had a small lapse in whatever. I don't know. Because as I was watching that game, I must say, though, I have never seen, and I think I told you maybe one time when we spoke between the games, I don't ever remember seeing a New England team that looked as inept as that team did against Buffalo. I mean, I was shocked.
Yeah, well, they were trending sort of in the wrong direction late in the year, and that's somewhat why I was surprised that you picked them. I thought Mac began to look like a young quarterback late in the year. He started looking like he'd hit a wall. They don't have a ton of weapons, and they did. Now, the one thing I'll completely agree with you on, I don't think they looked like they cared to be there.
No, and I just, I kept thinking because, Belichick is such a good coach, and he always makes adjustments and things, and I mean, I just kept thinking they were going to do something to turn it around. I mean, and they just never did. I mean, they just looked terrible. It didn't surprise me that they lost, but it surprised me how badly they lost. And the fact that I don't think Buffalo even had to punt.
No, they didn't. They set a record. 7 consecutive drives in which they scored. The only time that they didn't score, they took a knee to end the game.
Yeah, now that's just kind of embarrassing.
Well, it's humiliating, but this is what can happen when you get old in a hurry and slow. And Buffalo is athletic and young and hungry and angry and talented. And if you think about it, the Patriots have been a bully in that division for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So when somebody comes along and has an opportunity to lay the wood and to do it in a way that is a resounding message about where you now are and where we now are, they're going to do it. I mean, they're going to be ruthless in their effort to send the message that you're no longer the guy. I mean, New England has been the bully forever, and they finally were on the wrong end of a playground ass kicking. And they're having to probably now confront that reality. I would think if I'm Bill Belichick, the number one thing that stood out to me in that game, beyond the fact that Buffalo is immensely talented and deeper and faster, is the speed element. I mean, New England looks slow. They just looked so slow in that game. And I'm watching that thinking, well, they got down early. They knew they weren't going to win. They checked out. That's not a good sign. You got veteran players deciding, let's just get this over with. And then B, they weren't really equipped to do much about it. It's one thing to say, okay, let's adjust, but slow is slow. And you can adjust if you want to, but you're still slow. Yeah. And that's what they looked like.
Well, it was really surprising to me. And so I definitely learned a lesson in that one. And then the other game that we had different, was that the 49ers maybe?
Yeah, I had the Niners winning against the Cowboys in Dallas. Dallas is a bunch of choke artists, and they were the second leading in terms of penalties on the season. They were a team that were penalized over 10 times a game on the regular, and then they would bitch about officiating. That's never a good sign if forever you're complaining about officiating. And then number two, McCarthy's a bad coach, and they were ill prepared. You know that from all the pre-snap penalties. You can't have pre-snap penalties at home. It was not like they were on the road. So it's just they don't play smart. And San Francisco's physical. They're well coached. They're going to run the football. If Jimmy G wasn't average to poor, they would have blown Dallas out.
That Jimmy G concerns me this week for sure.
He concerns 49er fans too.
I know, because I think if they did have a really good quarterback, they could be scary.
Yeah, and the weirdest thing with him, now he is playing hurt. I don't want to give him a complete pass because he is up and down. But remember, I mean, he is a guy that has been the quarterback for San Francisco when they went to the Super Bowl, and they came within a couple of drives of beating Kansas City.
Right. Oh, I know that, and he can. I mean, he can play well, and so Lord knows I want him to this weekend because I don't want Green Bay to win in the worst way, but I just think they will.
Yeah, I do too. Too. All right.
Definitely picking Green Bay. Not that it matters, but I'm still picking.
Well, let's start with the first game, which I think is a great game. And your favorite player in the league comes back for said game, and that is Derrick Henry, going to start for the Titans in this game against the Bengals. I really love Joe Burrow. I really like that Cincinnati team. I think they're a fun team to root for. I think the run ends here. I'm going to take the Titans, who are getting healthy at the right time. Who did you take?
I take Tennessee as well. I really do like Tennessee, and I'm thrilled that Derrick Henry's coming back. And I think Cincinnati's got some injuries, too. It seems to me I heard somewhere on one of my, those sports shows I was listening to that they've got a couple of, I don't know if it's on the offensive line or the defensive line, but they've got some injuries, and so that won't help.
It won't. And the offensive line is an area for them that it's a bit of a weakness to begin with. So they haven't always been able to protect Joe Burrow in the way that you need to, and he's been hit quite a bit. He's also gutsy, so he'll hold the ball an awfully long time too, and so he's partly responsible. I admire how brash and tough he is, but playoff football, you cannot be back there getting hit, especially when you've had some knee issues. So I worry about him in this game. San Francisco and Green Bay, you took Green Bay. Should be a fun game. I will give you one nugget. I also take Green Bay here. But one thing to note, the Packers are not great against the run, and the 49ers are one of the best rushing teams in football. So you might get a better game than maybe we suspect. Yeah.
Well, I hope they run the hell out of the ball then, because I'll tell you right now, I am really rooting against Green Bay.
Of course.
I really, really am, because, well, of course, we have to win. But if we did,
we would host the 49ers. That's right.
That'd just be a thing of beauty.
It would. That's the game that's next, and it's the game that obviously we're all concerned about, Mom. I think the game has trended in the wrong direction for Tampa Bay. Wirfs did show up to practice today without a boot. That's good news. Had his helmet with him, was ready to go. They're not going full pads and hitting, but he was there to practice, and that means he's going to play. But he and Jensen are both not right. And, of course, you've already got the lost weapons of Godwin and AB. And so I really kind of feel like it's the Rams' time. They anteed up the way we did a year ago. They're healthy at the right time. They're angry, and they've got a very stout defensive line against a injury-riddled Bucs team that I do think is going to struggle to protect Tom Brady. I'll take the Rams.
I know. Well, in our little pool that we have that, John's doing, that thing where I'm really not good with the whole spread and points and all that kind of stuff. It's very confusing to me. But, well, it's not really confusing, but I don't like to pick against the spread, because I like to pick the team that I want to win. You know what I mean? You can't do that with the spread, and
right.
That really bothers me. So,
yeah.
But anyway, I agree with you. It's really hard for me, though, to pick against Tampa Bay. So since it's just you and me and it doesn't really matter, I'm taking my Bucs.
Well, I hope you win. I hope you win going away.
God, me too. Now, in that other pool, I did take the Rams, but I'll tell you right now, I hope I lose that game big time.
You saw your son in week number 1 of said pool went undefeated.
I did. I said, look at that. He got every single one right. That's awesome.
Yeah. Bills at Chiefs in the game of the weekend.
That is a game. And then I'm telling you right now, before you even tell me who you're taking, I'm taking Buffalo.
I like it. Mom says it with gusto.
I do. I'm going to tell you, after seeing what they did, now I know they're playing Kansas City, they're not playing New England, but I'm just telling you right now, I think that Josh Allen made a believer out of me, and that defense looked really serious, and I really think they can beat Kansas City.
Yeah, they can beat Kansas City. They absolutely can beat Kansas City. I've struggled with this game back and forth all week long. I am tempted to take Buffalo as well, partly because Kansas City, as good as they are, seems to, on the regular, get off to a slow start. And I think that if they get off to a slow start in this game, they're going to lose. I want this to be the epic matchup that it seems to promise to be, with these two quarterbacks playing at such a high level, and both of the teams are talented and well coached. It's a toss-up game in my mind. I'll take Kansas City narrowly to win on a last-second field goal. I want you to get the game right because I'd rather see Buffalo win, frankly.
Me too. I really do. And I think playing at Kansas City does give them maybe a touchdown. I do think it's hard to play there and the noise and, everything else. But I just, another thing too, going back to that Green Bay game, I think it's going to be, I think they said 6 degrees. I don't know what the wind chill is, and 13 or 15 mile per hour gusts. Oh man, that's just terrible.
It would suck to both attend and or play in that game.
I know it. I can't even imagine. I mean, those Green Bay people, they are really diehard fans.
Yeah. To say the least.
That game the other day in Buffalo was another one. I'm thinking, holy smokes, look at those people.
Yeah. Made me not want to live at either one of those places. Yes.
I know it. Yeah. Oh, my word.
Hardy folks. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You know what you should do, Mom? What you should do real quick before we go.
What?
I won't say because I don't want everybody to know exactly where you live. But right down from you, where you are, is that wonderful little Italian joint that the owners are all from Buffalo and have Buffalo Bills paraphernalia all over the walls.
I should go in there.
You're dead. There you go.
I'm really pulling for them.
There you go. Well, not just go in there. Get you a tall, cold one and watch the game with them.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
You really should.
Is that the night game?
That's the night game, yeah.
Oh, that would be kind of fun.
Oh, that place, you have to get there early because
I might not even be able to get in that place.
I know. There's a place down there, Mom. You know the one I'm talking about. I
absolutely do. Absolutely do.
Yeah, those people are true blue Buffalo fans, and every time I'm down visiting you, when I swing in there to get food to go, I'm always so impressed. I mean, they've got Bill's stuff from way back in the 70s and 80s all the way to now. It's like those people are for real.
Yeah, they really, really are. And, it's funny. One of the guys that we get some food from a company delivered here every couple of weeks, and the guy that delivers, its name is Dave, and he's from upstate New York, and he's a huge Buffalo fan. And when he delivered the other day on Monday, he had his Buffalo hat on, and I said to him, "Oh my Lord, I'm really rooting for your team this week."
Well, there you go.
So excited.
There you go, Mama. I love you. I'll talk to you later.
All right, I love you too. Have a great weekend. Go Bucks.
Okay, go Bucks.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, there's a cool restaurant down from where my parents live. And I went in there by chance one time to get a pizza to go. And she's like, oh, those people are really cool. And they've got a lot of local beers. And usually the games are on. You'll love it. Go in there. So I go in there, sit down, get a beer. Guy behind the counter starts chit-chatting me up. I start talking to him a little bit. And, I mean, he's got an autographed jersey he had Kelly, he had Thurman Thomas, he had all of these great Bills. There were, I want to say like 6 different signed jerseys specific to the place. So I was like, well, this is awesome. And we started talking. Listen, one thing's for sure, and if you listen to this show over the years, I could hate your team, but love the hell out of you rooting for them. And I don't hate the Bills. Tom thinks I do, but I don't. I love passionate people. Reasonable, passionate people who are diehard about their teams and root for them and through the tough times and the good and the bad, right? Because that is like the universal language of fandom.
Yeah, you hate the Eagles, but you were happy for me when they won the Super Bowl.
I was really happy for you when they won the Super Bowl. And, the Braves won the World Series. I'm indifferent about the Braves, but I was really happy for Corey. Very happy. you not so much.
Not
as a
as
Phillies
much.
fan.
Not as much.
But I have, somebody in every walk of life that roots for. I've got a friend who is, obviously I got a family member that is a Bull Gator. Now, I hate the University of Florida, but when they've won something specific to him, I've been happy for him, not them, him. And that really tests the boundaries of love right there. That is the depths of, but I would tell you, I would be happy because I know, for example, Bills fans are some of the best fans in the world of any sport, anywhere, any team. I know that. If they win and they get, let's say they move on and they go and get to the Super Bowl, I'm going to be so nervous for them because the pain of their failures, that's all you're going to hear about. That is all you're going to hear about. I mean, they're going to have to, and they know that. They're going to have to hear that leading up to the Super Bowl And I know this game is not to get to the Super Bowl, but you're one game away at that point, and you're going to hear, can this be the one? Will this be the time? That's a lot of weight, man. That is tough.
How many tables get broken if they make it to the Super Bowl? Did you see that one from this weekend?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, my God.
Executed perfectly. That guy executed that perfectly. Yeah. Come back, wrap it up momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio.
When you are approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group are here to help you preserve your retirement. The team at Preservation Financial Group can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create a comprehensive income plan designed around your needs. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risk before you retire. To schedule a free, no-obligation consultation, reach out to Pete Tyson and Preservation Financial Group today. 850-523-6118. That's 850-523-6118. Or visit them online at preservationfinancialgroup.com.
What's important when shopping at a gun store? Let's start with a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Then add top-notch service, great selection and pricing, and a personal shopping experience only found at a locally owned and operated business. At Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
If you're like most people, you're probably more than a little concerned about the state of the world around us today. Strange times. The stock market all-time highs every day. U.S. debt never been higher right now. Dollars losing value. And let's not forget about inflation, the highest since 2008. Remember what happened in 2008. So how do you protect your money, your retirement, your savings? Well, many people, just like you, are turning to Old Faithful to protect themselves during these difficult times. And Old Faithful is real gold and silver from the Oxford Gold Group, the kind you can actually hold in your hands and have in your IRA. No better time than the present to protect your future and the future of your family. Call the Oxford Gold Group right now, 833-928-GOLD. They will send you their free guide on investing in gold and silver and answer all of your questions. Protect your money before things get even worse out there. Call the Oxford Gold Group today at 833-928-GOLD. Oxford is here to help you protect your savings and retirement. That's 833-928-GOLD.
Live and live in color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics.
Right? North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com. Couple of things before you hit it. Let me give you a quick overview here. So far, best teams against the spread in college basketball as we move forward. You can check this out on the College Sports Book. We posted a video today on YouTube. I did that early this morning with Matthew. Auburn leads the way. Auburn has been simply fantastic against the number this year. 12-3 against the spread as a favorite, 9-2 against the spread at home. So just so you know, pretty impressive. The others on that list, if you want to fade them moving forward, Middle Tennessee is 11-2 against the spread. Wisconsin 12-3, Oakland 12-4, Fresno State 11-4, Toledo 12-5, Louisiana Tech 9-3. If you think that they come back down to earth and you want to fade, those are the teams you're going to want to circle there. Or if you think they continue to ride high, Auburn's not surprising anybody anymore because they have risen to a place where obviously everybody knows just how good they are. Worst teams against the spread so far. Pacific has not won a game against the spread. Thanks for the 0-12 or 1-12. I have it wrong. 1-12. Sorry, Pacific. You did win the one. But the others that have gone a terrible direction for you. And I must say, many of these teams, if you're wagering on them, you are truly a sporting guy or gal. Drake, Idaho State, Wright State, North Dakota, Northern Kentucky, North Dakota State, Southern Utah. Again, who's riding them at this point? Hopefully nobody. That's a toughie. So if you're looking for underdogs, top teams against the spread so far this year as underdogs, Monmouth is 6-0. Idaho, Towson State, K-State, New Mexico, Chicago State. If you're looking for ranked teams on the road versus unranked teams, well, I'm not going to help you here. Let's go with best teams on the over. 12-1 to the over is Delaware, Northern Iowa, East Carolina, Northeastern, Bowling Green, UMass, Alabama, and Oregon, all with stunning records. ATS to the over. That's minutes? Yes. By the way, best unders team, Eastern Illinois, 12-1-0 for the under. Get these stats. They are 85th in offensive efficiency and points per game. They are also 286th in tempo. That's how you arrive pretty consistently as the under. And then from their worst conference, Power 5, so far this year against the spread, worst is the ACC. How about that?
Those numbers, when you said them on the video this morning, were shocking how bad they've been.
91, 118, and 2. The best against the spread so far this season as a conference is the Big 12, 73, 60, and 4. Your numbers there. All right. Quickly, a wager. You got one? I got one. Cue it.
Hey, Big Daddy, having some Red Russians tonight?
We'll know in about 47 seconds.
Into an open wing. It's picked up by Dowdy, an empty net. He scores.
Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. Red Russians all around, Teddy.
All right, Big Daddy.
All right. Wrestling back and forth with this, but I'll take Tennessee Titans lay the 3.5 against the Bengals. I know, say it ain't so, Jeff. And I also like the Rams getting the points against the Bucs. I already gave you the 2-team teaser that I'm on at this point. There's also some fun bets here if you'd like. 2-point conversion prop bet. Over, under for the weekend. More than 1.5 or less. 2-point conversion attempts. Total for the games this weekend. 1.5 is the number.
Over.
You go over, it's plus 170. Kind of fun to look at. Any game going into overtime in the divisional round. What do you think the no is?
No would be minus 250.
Minus 190. Not a bad value, actually. How about a defense or special teams touchdown in any of the games? Defensive touchdown, special teams touchdown.
I mean, if Stafford doesn't play well, the Bucs have a chance.
Put the number at 1.5.
I'd go under on that.
Yeah. The under is minus 190. All right. Those are your wagers. You got one you're taking a side on?
I would lean towards the under on Buffalo, Tennessee.
Okay. I mean, you mean Tennessee, Cincinnati?
What did I say?
Buffalo, Tennessee.
Yeah, Cincinnati, Tennessee.
Okay. That's fair. Should be a fun game. Good work out of you all week long, brother. Thanks to all of you for watching on Warchant TV. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Thanks to you who contributed, and thanks to those of you who listened on 93.3. Be well, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.
Joe takes over from 3 to 5. Coming up next.